Hi students. So I'm with a new list of videos. You can see some of my videos coming in the future on this subject, which is cost and management accounting and financial management. So I request you to subscribe to my channel and share to the students this news. Okay, previously we have posted the complete videos guidance for operation management and business strategy. Hope it was very useful. I have received a very positive comments on that, very positive feedback. Thanks for it. So this time it's for cost and management accounting and financial management. So this time also the subject is from the group 2 of the CMA Inter syllabus 2016. Okay, so here I'm going to make a different strategy. One set of videos will be for the problems and second set of videos will be for the theories. And if you have any doubts on the theories, I will address it on the comment section also. Okay, so let's go into, so here today my agenda is to cover only the three problems. So I will go as the illustrations as per the book and the same order I am going to follow. So let's go to the first problem in the book, which is the illustration 1. This is on the subject break-even analysis. Yeah, so hope my pointer is visible now. Yeah, so illustration 1. So let's read out the question. ABC Limited sold 2,75,000 units of its product at 37 rupees 50 paise per unit. So selling price is given. Variable costs are 17.5 per unit, in which manufacturing cost, so this is manufacturing variable cost, and selling cost of 3.5, that is also variable. Okay, so fixed cost incurred uniformly throughout the year and amount to 35 lakhs is the total fixed cost as per the P&L. So if you take the company's P&L and analyze, and we can bifurcate 35 lakhs as the fixed cost, which is consistent every year it is happening. Okay, and that is inclusive of the depreciation of 15 lakhs. There is no beginning or ending inventories. Okay, so required estimate break-even sales level quantity, break-even sales level quantity, and cash break-even sales level quantity. Okay, so here the selling price is given in the question, and we also have the variable cost per unit, which is 17.5. We have to include manufacturing and selling because the product is sold. So all the variable cost till the from the beginning of making the product to till it is sold, till the point of sales. Okay, so the complete variable cost is 14 plus 3.5 totaling to 17.5 rupees. Okay, so from this it is very clear what will be the contribution. So contribution is a basic uh, thing that we calculate on the marginal costing. So what is marginal costing is all our decision making will be based on the variable cost. Okay, so selling price minus variable cost will be the contribution, and this contribution should be such that it should be covering all our fixed cost, and after that there will be a profit that is left out, and that profit will be used by the company for future expansion. Okay, so this is a very decision making, this is like a management decision making. So based on the ability of a product to cover a portion of fixed cost, the selling price of the product will be determined. Okay, so this is much helpful on the decision making, especially on the product pricing perspective. And if we want to quote for a tender, okay, so all kind of costing, we have to use this kind of methodology for pricing. And this is the practical thing what I shared. So selling price is given in the question. Fixed cost is given as per the P&L, that is given 35 lakhs, which is including depreciation. So the question asks to question asks the two parts. One is calculate the break-even sales quantity, and second one is the cash break-even sales quantity. So what is break-even? Okay, so here break-even is nothing but the quantity, sales quantity. When we achieve that sales quantity, our profit is zero. Okay, there is no profit or no gain. Okay, the sales quantity at which there will not be any cost that we have not taken back, and there is no profit also. Okay, so we have taken back all the costs and that's it. We have not gained even a single rupee of profit, and that is break even. And sales break even can be said in various factors. Here sales quantity is the factor. So we are selling such number of unit at which there is no profit or no loss, and we have taken back all our cost, especially the fixed cost. Okay, so now we will go to the main formula. So break even sales quantity is nothing but, we have here the contribution is nothing but the selling price, which is 37.5 minus 17.5 is 20 rupees. So 20 rupees is the contribution, and this contribution is per unit. So per unit contribution is 20 rupees. And when we divide the fixed cost, because we have to take this fixed cost by selling our product, so 35 lakhs divided by contribution per unit. So one unit if we sell, we are getting a contribution of 20 rupees. So how much units we have to sell to get a contribution of 35 lakhs? And when we get the contribution of 35 lakhs, the contribution is enough to meet the fixed cost, and we will not be left out with any profit or any loss. So it is nil. Okay, so that will be the break even sales quantity. So the second question is cash break even sales quantity. So here we have to break the fixed cost of 35 lakhs into cash expenditure and non-cash expenditure. We all know depreciation is a non-cash expenditure because we are not paying out of our pocket. It is a reserve which we create by depreciating, where there is a various mechanism for depreciation, as we all know, straight line method or written down value method. So the fixed assets in the balance sheet will be depreciated over the year, and depreciation reserves will be useful for replacing the machineries when it is worn out. So we have to keep this machinery, so it is non-cash expenditure. But here the cash break-even sales quantity is asked. So if the non-cash expenditure is 15 lakhs out of 35 lakhs, the cash expenditure is going to be 20 lakhs, which is 35 lakhs minus 15 lakhs is 20 lakhs. So when you divide 20 lakhs, which is the cash fixed deposit, divided by the contribution margin per unit 20 rupees, which we discussed earlier, you will get the cash break-even sales quantity. Okay, so this is a very simple problem, maybe a 2 mark, or if you are lucky, you may get in 4 mark. So you can just give an attempt to this problem. I will move to the next slide. So our next problem says Pankaj Limited engaged in the manufacture of two products A and B. So this company is engaged in two products manufacturing. So the product A details are given in the column 1 and product B given in the column 2. Selling price of the product is given. Direct material is nothing but the material which is used to make that product. For example, if you are making a maybe a mobile phone, the mobile screen, the keypad, your touch screen, your battery, back cover, all those things is going to be direct material. Even the components of the charger which you can physically see, all those things are direct materials, and direct material per unit is given. Next, direct wages. So the wages of the employees who is directly assembling this product is the direct wages. So hourly wages will be calculated, and per unit will be calculated by the management when the product decision is made. And here the direct wages per unit at 50 paise per hour. So it's given as 10 rupees. Okay, and 10 rupees is charged, so 50 paise per hour. Okay, and 15 rupees for the product B, which is per unit. On per unit basis, the direct wages is given. Next is the variable overhead. So the overhead which varies with the quantity of the product. So that is, so anything that varies with the number of units produced, that is called variable. So here the overhead is classified as variable overhead, which is 100% of percentage of the direct wages. So while making this product, we will do the initial costing for launching the new product. At that time, the financial analyst will go to the product line and he will first analyze the complete expenditure that is taking place in the manufacturing of the product, and he will classify the expenditure into direct materials, direct wages, and there will be some other expenditures that is left out, and all other expenditures will be the overheads. And the main work is to classify the overheads into whether it is variable or whether it is fixed. For example, for making the mobile phone, okay, there is a first station in which 2 or 3 components is put on the PCB, and that is the or the printed circuit board, or which is the motherboard of the phone, and then it moves to the next stage in which few more components will be put up. So in the first station, there will be the machinery consumes some power, machinery will consume some consumables also, like oil or grease or something. So whenever whatever item that is consumed, like electricity or other what I'm speaking is other than the material and wages which we have accounted for it earlier itself. So anything other than that which varies within which can be accounted to the per unit level, you can classify all those things as a variable overhead. And there will be some other expenditure which you cannot classify as variable overhead. For example, if that is a rented place and the first station is having a machine for 100 square feet, and that 100 square feet is the rent that is apportioned to that place, and number of hours the unit passed through the station 1, so that will be the apportioned rent for the product manufactured in the station 1, and this is a fixed cost. This is not going to be changed. Even if we produce or even if we not produce, this is not going to change. So this is not varying with the number of units that is produced. So this is classified as fixed overhead. So the fixed overhead is given in the per annum basis. So it is at the P&L level, annual P&L level. Okay, so the maximum capacity is given in units, 1,000 units. Show the contribution of each product A and B and recommend which of the following sales mix should be adopted. So here the question is classified as a decision making on sales mix. So there are 3 options here, and which of the option will be more profitable for you? That is the question. So here the selling price is given. Selling price is 60 minus direct material of 20 minus direct wages of 10 takes it to 30, and variable overhead is also there, so which is 100% of direct wages, so 10 rupees. So 20 plus 10 plus 10, so total variable cost is 40 rupees. So 60 minus 40 will be 20 rupees per unit. So the contribution for the product A will be 20 rupees per unit. Let's calculate for the product B. So contribution is nothing but the selling price minus the variable cost. So 100 minus 25 minus 15 and minus 15. So 15, 15, 30 and 55. So 100 minus 55 will be 45 rupees will be the contribution for the product B. So there is a simple decision making. So contribution of product A is 20 rupees. Product B is 45 rupees. So B is making more money per unit. So the decision making becomes very simple. In the case 1, we are making 300 units of A, 600 units of B. In case B, we are making 450 units of A and 450 units of B. In case C, we are making 600 units of A and 300 units of B. So since the contribution per unit of B is very higher, the case where we are making more units of B will be more profitable. This is a very simple decision making. However, you can prove it by analyzing each cases in the examination. Okay, so in this case, in the case A, we are making 600 units of B, which is the highest in all the case. So product B in is 450 in the second option, 300 in the second option. So 600 is the maximum. So case A will have the highest profit. out of all these three. So the best sales mix is 300 of product A and 600 of product B. Okay, so you can, after the conclusion, you can write your decision also in the wording in the problem, so that will attract the evaluator. Okay, I'm going to the next problem for the day. In a factory producing two different kinds of articles, the limiting factor is the availability of labor. From the following information, show which product is more profitable. So here one small twist. We here also it is very similar. We have to find which product is more profitable. But one more detail is the limiting factor is availability of labor. And you all know that recently, even after the COVID-19, many factories had the limiting factor of labor. So it's nothing but with the available labor hours, what is the maximum profit that we can make? If A can make the maximum profit per hour, then A is the best. If B can make the maximum profit per hour, per labor hour, then B is the best product. So what? So the limiting factor is labor hour. So all our decision making is based on the labor hour. So material used is given, direct material cost is given for product A and product B. Labor hours is given, how much hours of labor is required for the product A and what is the rate of labor. So which means per hour it's 50 paise. So that is the labor cost is given for product A and product B. Overhead, fixed overheads is 50 percentage of labor, fixed overhead. Okay, next is the variable cost is given and total cost is 11 rupees. Putting all this, putting together 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 is 11 rupees. So all this putting together, total cost they have totaled up here, fixed plus variable plus labor plus material. Selling price of the product is also given. Profit is also given in the question, which is the selling price minus the total cost. Profit is also given in the question. Total production for the month. So in the month, 500 units is produced of product A and 600 units is produced of product B. Maximum capacity per month is 4,800 hours. Since the limiting factor is labor hours, so total labor hours that is available for the month, that is given 4,800 hours. Okay, if you want to produce anything more than the quantity which require 4,800 hours, that is not possible because the labor hours is limited to 4,800 hours. Okay, so give proof in support of your answer. Let's go ahead. Okay, marginal cost. So what is marginal cost? It is the total variable cost, that is the marginal cost. Contribution per unit, we all know selling price minus the marginal cost or minus the total variable cost will give you the contribution per unit. So what is limiting factor? As we discussed, there will be anything that is the management is very much concerned. The scarcity will change at time. It is dynamic in nature. Market is dynamic. So the scarcity or critical items is also dynamic. So at this point of time or this in question, labor is a limiting factor. Labor in the sense labor hour is the limiting factor. Contribution per limiting factor. Okay, here we can find the contribution per limiting factor. Selling price is 14 rupees. So 14 rupees minus material cost minus labor cost and minus other variable cost. Okay, put together A you can find the contribution and B also you can find the contribution, and you can divide the contribution. Okay, so the contribution divided by the limiting factor, which is for A we need 6 hours of labor hours to produce the A, while the product B can be produced in 3 hours. Okay, so we have to find the contribution. Okay, so for example, for the product A, 14 minus 1.5 variable cost minus 3 rupees labor cost minus 5 rupees material cost, that will be the contribution of product A divided by hours of labor that is required. So per labor hour, what will be the contribution of product A? And per labor hour, what will be the contribution of product B? In our question, if you calculate the same, in this case, B will have the higher contribution per labor hour, which means labor is scarce in this scenario, what the question says. So here, with the available labor hour, uh, in the question it is given 4,800 hours will be available. With the available labor hour, we can make the maximum profit if we make B. That is what is the decision that is coming out. But here one additional thing is give the proof for your answer. So how can you give the proof? It's you have to draw the P&L for it. That's it. So what is P&L? So P&L will show you the profit or loss that you have made over the period. Here you have to calculate the maximum sales quantity. Okay, so here maximum capacity that we have is 4,800 hours, and if you make product A in that 4,800 hours, how much product A you can make? Okay, that will be the maximum sales quantity of product A. For example, 4,800 hours you have, and each unit of product A will require 6 hours. So 4,800 divided by 6 hours is nothing but 800 units of product A you can make. So if you do the same calculation of product B, okay, so you have 4,800 hours of capacity and 3 hours is required for making the product B. In this case, you can make I think 1,600 units of product B. Okay, so now you know the sales quantity. Now you can draw the P&L. Okay, so sales quantity multiplied by the selling price. Sales is ready. Sales is the topmost item of the P&L. Next, material cost. You have the material cost per unit multiplied you have the sales quantity of 800 of product A and 1,600 of product B. You are just doing a comparison. Okay, so here you can either make product A, you can either make product B. In the scenario is like that. So in the product A, if you can make 800 units of product A, draw the P&L for it. If you are going to make the product B, you can make 1,600 units of product B and draw a P&L for it. So what is the sales? What is the material cost? What will be the labor cost? What will be the total variable cost? And what will be the fixed cost? Putting all together, what will be the profit? Consolidated profit, which means multiplied by the quantity uh, for the product A and product B, which will be the maximum. So this is the proof. So you can draw the P&L, then that will be the proof for your decision. Okay. Thank you guys. I will cut off my class with this problem. I will frequently post further videos on explaining the illustration of this paper. Okay. Happy New Year, guys. And yes, wish you a best of luck for all your upcoming exams. Stay focused. All the very best.